friends, and welcome back to Ghouls Night In, the spooky chat show with your best ghoul friends. I'm Penny Snark.
And I'm Midge Munster.
And if any of our listeners out there have been like, I really wish that there was a Ghouls Night In episode that was about both Gothic architecture and 90s animation, this is the episode for you. Because we're talking about gargoyles.
Gargoyles! Yay! Oh, I'm excited.
Ooh, good. Yes. What do you picture when I say gargoyles, Midge?
I specifically, my brain, because of everything about me, jumps to Halloween tree.
Oh yes, yes.
Because they build the cathedral and then they're like, it's missing gargoyles, and they bring the gargoyles and then they fly on them.
As
yeah,
you do.
I think gargoyles are so cool. I also picture like nouveau riche houses in Kansas with their gargoyles at the end of their driveways.
Oh yeah. Excellent. Yeah, I mean, I think that there are a few things that people think about. Obviously, we've got what you've mentioned. If you're my age, you probably think of the 1990s Disney cartoon gargoyles.
Oh, yeah.
We've got comedic gargoyles in the Disney cartoon version of Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh, yeah, sure.
If you're a cultured person, you might think of actual Notre Dame.
you might think of real cathedrals.
Yeah, not the animated ones. But a gargoyle is a carved stone figure that is a feature of Gothic architecture, and they actually serve a very important purpose. And this purpose is what makes a gargoyle a gargoyle. Do you know what this is, Midge?
This is maybe a long shot. Is it something to do with water?
You're right. Yes.
Yeah.
Ding,
Isn't
ding,
it like
ding, ding.
like a drainage thing?
Yes. So properly, a gargoyle only actually refers to a stone figure that is a water spout that directs water away from a building. If it does not spout water, technically, the correct term is a grotesque.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes. So a lot of the things that we picture when we hear gargoyle today would more accurately be described as a grotesque. So gargoyle is like a subcategory. So it's all squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares kind of situation. So the reason that gargoyles exist is to direct rain away from the building. And especially when you think about Gothic architecture that has a lot of intricate details on the walls, like lots of statuary, you really want to direct your rain like as far away as possible, which is why you see these really long neck gargoyles shooting out from the building, trying to spit that rain out so it's not going to, hit and damage the molding and stuff that you've got underneath.
Spit that rain right out, girl.
Spit it out. This is I feel like this is just like a super reasonable explanation, but that might lead you to wonder, why do they look like that though?
Right. Yeah. Why do we have to have that in order to spout water?
Why is it that? So we see gargoyles like most often on medieval churches, and historically, Catholic churches are not great friends to weird little guys and monsters.
I know as a weird little guy, I feel that way.
Right, yes. So the term gargoyle is from a medieval French legend, which the story is basically that the countryside was being menaced by a monster called La Gargouille, which was a long-necked dragon who was breathing fire, and the Bishop of Rouen saved everyone and defeated the monster, but when they tried to burn the corpse, its head wouldn't burn, so they hung it up on the church to be like, watch the fuck out, monsters, don't come in here.
Don't you come in here.
Don't you come over here. So as you can guess, our term gargoyle comes from that. Obviously, you are a French speaker, and I am not, but it is a combination of ghoul, which is like an animal's throat. That's also where our word gullet is based in. And then it was said that garg is just kind of a swallowing sound. So
sure.
you see
like
that
gargling.
yeah, like gargling or gurgling water. All kind of come from this. But even before we called it this, there are other historic examples of what we would call gargoyles. I got some good information in this from an article on My Modern Met. So if you go all the way back to, surprise, surprise, ancient Egypt, and in Greece, we do see a lot of decoratively carved water spouts, mostly lion heads. On these temples, which obviously were very religiously important to people in those cultures. And you see, like, they said, like, the Temple of Zeus had, like, 50 marble gargoyles on it, which, like, a lot of them have since broken off because they're big and heavy.
Sure. That's amazing, though.
Right? Yeah. And so you have seen this, like, this exists. Wow.
It exists.
It exists in the world, and in the Middle Ages is when we see kind of the resurgence and the development of like these more monstrous gargoyles. So in the Leon Cathedral is the first known example that was completed in 1230. And they really continued to be popular into the 18th century, which is when people started to invent drain pipes.
Right. Sure.
Yes, which are...
From gargoyles to gutters.
Yep, which are useful. And as we just mentioned, with the Temple of Zeus, these big heavy stones did sometimes just fall off of buildings.
They'd be falling. Yeah.
So a little bit dangerous. The March of Progress, you know how it goes. But the reason that medieval churches were putting gargoyles on them is a subject of debate. So some people theorize that they were meant to be like a reminder of like the evils of the world. So you would like look at it and be like, ah, shit, I gotta go to church so I won't be beset by, you know, all these evil gargoyles.
Oh, that reminds me.
That reminds me, sin exists. I should go to church.
Gargoyles reminding people sin exists since 1295.
Right. There's also suggestions that kind of in a similar vein that they have like kind of talismanic, like kind of protective magic idea of like having like the symbol of a dangerous thing on there.
Yeah, very like very jack-o'-lantern coded.
Yes,
like
exactly.
Scare the evil thing with a scary thing.
Yeah. And so a lot of people mostly are like, there's probably, because gargoyles were used over such a large span of time, there probably isn't like one single like reason.
Sure.
And also, I think people just thought they were cool, and they think that it's fun to see stuff spitting. Because
spitting bars.
They're spitting bars. Because there are, so like in some later medieval time, they have gargoyles that like are people. So like not a monster. And so it looks like a lot of times they look like they're either puking or pooping out the water. Right. Sometimes it would be like, here's a butt. Ha. So I think it was also just like kind of funny. Like it's fun to have like
a meme.
It was a meme. And they would do ones that were like, oh, this is a money lender or a prostitute. So it was kind of on that same like sin theme and this idea that maybe
it's a political cartoon.
Exactly. Yeah. It's making statements. Yeah. And there were actually, like, in the medieval period, like, there was a monk who was just like, these things are freaky and we shouldn't have them in church. So, even at the time, there were people who were like, no, I'm not about this. It's kind of weird.
That monk is boring. He should be excommunicated.
Right. He's having no fun. And also something that I think I had heard this, but it was good to remember, is a lot of the things, like if you think of like Notre Dame and like iconic gargoyles there, a lot of those are not actually original. So there were gargoyles on Notre Dame like the entire time, but a lot of the like really like dramatic ones that we picture were added during the Reconstruction in like the 1840s and 50s.
Okay.
So it was also a little bit of that Victorian vibe, being like, ooh, hey, here's a weird thing of the past. Let's make it, let's zazz it up a little bit and make them even spookier.
And I appreciate it.
Right? I was like, it was the correct choice. But gargoyles, of course, are not just an architectural element. We do today see gargoyles as a lot of different types of monsters or kind of themes. Midge, can you guess when we start to see gargoyles kind of as a figure of horror in fiction? I will say it is more recent than you would expect.
Ooh, okay. I mean, my brain jumps to the 90s just because of the show, and because of, like, Hunchback of Notre Dame being, or, like, in our childhood. I feel like that gargoyles became a big thing.
This is
like,
true.
maybe the 80s.
They definitely had a resurgence then. It wasn't quite that recent, but
Okay.
according to the Ashgate Encyclopedia of Literary and Cinematic Monsters, which I feel like I need to get my hands on now.
Yeah,
'cause
I
it's
was
just
like, and where does one
an
find
encyclopedia of monsters. But he cites, tracks this to 1932, which is still pretty crazy considering that, like, these are medieval things.
Yeah.
But
you're looking at the dawn of cinema, baby.
it's true. And they actually appeared in some pulp stories. So weirdly, there are two different stories in 1932 about a gargoyle, which I don't know what was in the water. Apparently, 1932 was also a big year for gargoyles. But he cites a pulp story called Maker of Gargoyles by Clark Ashton Smith, who was one of the, like, big three of the Weird Tales magazine, which would be a good episode to talk about. That's what so I will admit I didn't recognize the name right off the bat, but they said that it was like him and Lovecraft and another guy were like the main three, kind of.
And who is Lovecraft? No, I'm kidding.
And who is this? Who is this?
Never heard of him.
So in this story, a stonemason who is carving gargoyles inadvertently infuses them with, like, his bad vibes, basically, and they come to life and attack the town.
I hate when that happens.
Hate when that happens. It's a bummer. And there was also another 1932 story by a writer called Lewis Spence, who was a Scottish author and occultist, called The Horn of Vapula, which features, like, a demon occupying and animating a gargoyle. So, like, a priest makes a deal, or a bishop or something makes a deal with Satan, and Satan's like, all right, my demon buddy is gonna be in this gargoyle. And
I mean, I feel like if I was a demon and I was looking for a vessel,
right? It seems
that's
like a
pretty
good,
sick one.
a pretty good matchup. For...
Unless you're, like, if you're not trying to be inconspicuous, like,
yes,
if you're trying to be like, hey, what's up? I'm a demon.
Yeah,
Gargoyle's a pretty strong choice.
Totally. There is also kind of like a potential lighter side to gargoyles that kind of emerges from here and is potentially part of, like, what we were talking about before with kind of that, like, talismanic energy of this idea that it could be a protection from evil, kind of like a golem. And you see that in a few different pieces of media over the years. They kind of, in this encyclopedia, they kind of divvied it up into, like, there are, you know, like, gargoyles that were stone and are animated. There are gargoyles that, like, are living monsters. There was at a point a D&D race that were gargoyles, which I do not think is standard in modern D&D, but at one point that existed. But, of course, I gotta shout out the cartoon gargoyles, which aired from 1994 to 1997. What's up?
Things that made gargoyles hot.
Things that made the gargoyles hot again. Everyone was like, we gotta have this. So for those who are not familiar, in this cartoon, the gargoyles were like a race of creatures that were stone during the day and then come alive at night. And in the show, they were from medieval Scotland, but had been cursed to stay stone all the time. Sucks to suck. But the spell was broken when they were brought to modern day New York City. And had all sorts of good times fighting evil. And this show was like chock-a-block full of like Shakespeare references. A bunch of the gargoyles are named after
kind of.
like Shakespeare characters, and there are like themes from like Midsummer Night's Dream and Macbeth get pulled in. Of course, I was obsessed with the evil lady gargoyle Desdemona.
I was literally about to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
She was a badass. Very cool. And lots of like Celtic mythology kind of came in because they would tie in stuff from like old-timey Scotland. I'm sure it wasn't super accurate, but at the time I was like, hell yeah.
You're like, that's all the information I need. It's from this
all good.
3-season Disney show about gargoyles.
Yep. So I was definitely like, yep, I'm a nerd and I love this. But of course, as we've learned today, the gargoyles are not really gargoyles because they are not water spouts.
No spouting.
No spouting. Yeah, and I know that there's definitely a lot of feelings from people about the goofy gargoyles in Hunchback of Notre Dame, which is like, for if anyone did not like watch the animated Hunchback of Notre Dame growing up, like it's an intense movie.
Yeah, that would be me. I saw that for the first time as an adult.
Oh, yep.
And I was like, this is for children?
Yeah, right? It's crazy.
It's like a 10-minute horrific Frollo singing. Oh my god.
Right? Yeah, it's like you got a man who's just like, I'm so horny that this woman who makes me horny has to die. I'm gonna lock this family inside a house and burn it down with them inside. All sorts of craziness. But they were like, but don't worry, it's for kids because there are goofy singing gargoyles.
Silly, goofy guys.
Some silly, goofy guys who come to life. Which I think that there is like a bit with one of them spitting at least, which obviously kind of pays homage to the waterspouts. But there are, because there is like some very, beautiful like animated version of Notre Dame. Like there is like a moment where you like see Quasimodo like on like actual like physical gargoyles.
Yeah, when he's like hanging off of it, right?
Yeah. So you do have a legit gargoyle experience in there too. But mostly we've got a lot of grotesques. And
well, you know what? Once again, I'd like to shout out PBS because Halloween Tree is part of that plot. The Pip character becomes a gargoyle on Notre Dame, and it's like it's not like a monster, it's like his face sticking out, and he can't speak unless there's water pouring through his mouth, and then they figure that out that they have to like keep the water flowing to hear what he's saying. So he's an actual gargoyle, and that's why I knew that information when Penny asked me was because of programming made possible by viewers like you. So thank you
PBS.
Public Television.
Truly. And okay, because we have a little bit of time and you mentioned this, the other random weird thing that I discovered while I was doing this is something called a corbel head.
What's that?
So, and I don't know, so corbel is like the thing that's the base for like an arch. So like when you see
like the little like little doop-de-doo.
Yeah, like a little I'm making the shape with my hand, which isn't helpful because this is a podcast.
That kind of little like, not a buttress, but like kind of a little scoop that holds
a little stone
the thing.
Scoop that supports it. So sometimes, a lot of times on like medieval churches, way high up where no one can see, people were carving little faces on those.
Oh.
And like sometimes they're like sometimes it would be like a weird little beast or creature like making a funny face. Sometimes it appears to be kind of like a caricature of like a religious figure.
Oh, and they're doing jokes.
Yeah, so it seems like, the like some of the masons who were like up there, high up all the time carving stuff were like, I'm gonna put a little face here, and like no one would know about it until like people would either go up to like refurbish it. Some things like were not discovered until, modern times when people were going up there. And one thing that I really liked in this, a very beautiful website called Britain Express, which has passionate about British history written in Comic Sans at the top. But this is from their Illustrated Dictionary of British Churches. And they talk about how sometimes you will find like little orphaned heads that are in a church wall where they maybe like rebuilt the interior or they like raised up the roof and they just, so it's not supporting anything anymore, but there's just a little face still hanging out.
That's funny.
Which I thought was pretty delightful.
I do love those moments of just like, wow, people have always just been people. Like,
yeah, and
it's so human to be like, I'm gonna hide a little head here.
I'm gonna put a little face here, and me and my buds are the only ones who are gonna know that I carved this funny face right here.
That's precious.
Yes. So that is my tale about the gargoyle. I was thinking about Gargoyles, the animated series, the other day, and I was like, I bet there's something to talk about here. We love funky architecture on this show. Obviously, these are old, so they must have some fun stories. And then I was like, of course, Ancient Egypt, you're hanging out in here too.
Of course you're here, Egyptians. We knew it was you the whole time.
And they're like, we started this whole sweet water spout trend with our great lion heads, so you're welcome.
No, that's fascinating. I did not know there was so much to them.
Yeah. Well, anyone out there who has seen, if you've seen like cool gargoyles in person, let us know. Whether they are, official ones or if they are the kind that are at the end of someone's driveway.
If it's not from the gargoyle region of France,
exactly.
It's just a sparkling statue.
Well, it made me laugh when you mentioned that too, because I was like, that is basically like the plot of Gargoyles, the TV show, is that a rich guy in New York City was like, I'm gonna ship these medieval gargoyles over to put them on my skyscraper because I'm so cool. And they're like, surprise.
Sometimes it's the goths, but usually it's not.
Yep. Well, thank you so much for tuning in today, everybody. If you would like to help us spread the word about our show, you can leave us a review wherever you listen. And I do believe we have a fresh, hot review to read today.
We do. This is an Apple review titled Join the Ghoul Gang with a cute little witch emoji next to it from Lola V with a heart and a ghost. And it says, these glam ghouls serve spooky stories with a side of cold, hard facts.
Hell yeah.
Because why settle for just chills when you can get the receipts too, period. Plus, they keep the creepy vibes going all year long in Discord.
Yeah.
It's the ghoul gang I didn't know I needed in my life. Honestly, it's like Halloween never ended. Keep it up, Penny and Midge.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you, Lola. And a great shout out to our Discord channel.
I was like, thank you for that wonderful segue. To let the people know that you can hang out with a ghoul gang all year round on the Ghouls Night in Discord. We are definitely getting hype for Halloween in there. So if you want to come and hang out, we have the link for that in our show notes. And also on our Instagram, which is at Ghouls Night in Pod, where we post cool pics and share stuff. And if you got, we'll shout out again, we just launched our new Don't Perceive My Corpse merch.
Yes.
Which is gorgeous and fabulous, and the ghouls are ready for it. So if you do get your merch, definitely post a pic and tag us, and we love to see and share those.
Yes, please. I want to see you wearing it.
Yes. And if you are looking for more of me, you can find me at Penny Snark.
And you can find me all over the web at Midge Munster.
And until next time, goodbye.
Bye.